What's up, Western Iowa Tech students? It's Live with Mike again, and I have a special guest in the building today, right? And this is Dr. Terry Murrell, the president of Western Iowa Tech Community College. Welcome, Terry.
Thanks, Mike. Glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm very honored to have you. And you know what? It's going to be hard calling you Terry, right? So I can meet you halfway and call you Dr. Terry. Right. Again, Western Iowa Tech students, I hope you tune in because this is legendary right here. So Dr. Murrell, I want to ask you a question. Can you tell us a little bit about your background and how did you end up in Sioux City, Iowa at Western Iowa Tech?
That is a great question, Mike. And, I be in this position and never would have thought that I'd be in Sioux City. I grew up in kind of all over, but mostly Indiana and Nebraska. In Indiana, I thought I was going to be a professional basketball player. In Nebraska, I was going to go to the NFL. Neither panned out. So I went to school at Kearney State in the middle of Nebraska. Was a loper. Got a degree in math and computer science, and I put my pocket protector away for your interview here. And then really started my senior year in college. I started working in the admissions office and really liked working at a college. So I went from there to Dana College and was an admissions representative for Dana College. Now if you try to look up Dana closed down. It had nothing to do with me. Many years after I left, got plenty of students when I was there. And then I moved on to do financial aid a little bit with Dana because of my math background, and then got a job at ITT Technical Institute in Omaha to do financial aid. Now, if you look, ITT is closed down, has nothing to do with me.
That's the second one.
I know. Hopefully there's not a third on the list. And then after being at ITT for a little while, I went on and ran actually my own commercial arts school, not my own. I ran a commercial arts school called the Creative Center in Omaha. Wow. It's still there, Mike. So that's good news. And then I started working at Metropolitan Community College, and that's really when I fell in love with community college. And at that point, I really decided this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. At that point, I had a master's degree, and so I went and got back and got my PhD in educational administration. Wow. So kind of was floating around, didn't know what I wanted to do. While I was at Metro, I got my PhD. And then really in the first part of my life, I decided, hey, I can decide what I want to do now. Did some research. When the position opened up at Western Iowa Tech, it hit everything that I was looking for. Size of a community in the Midwest, which was close to my home. Had a president that had been here for a long time that I felt maybe I could learn something from, but also meant, maybe at some point would retire and a position would open up. And I was fortunate that all that happened. It's been a great place for me to grow up in and have my children grow up in, and my wife loves it. So it's for us. Was vice president for 4 years, and then now I've been president for the last 9.
Nice. Now, all you students listening, right? You heard Terry said he started in admissions, right? That's ground level, right? So when you get your job, ain't nothing wrong with starting at ground level, right? Because you can work yourself up, right? You can work your way up. So, that's a good thing. Shouts out to Dr. Robert Dunker. Yeah, the president prior to Mr. Terry, Dr. Terry. Okay, so the next question is this. I'm sure you're coping in your own way, but all this craziness has happened. And what does the president of Western Iowa Tech do to cope with stress, especially during these times?
Well, so in these times, I'm coping by staying incredibly busy. I'm not really watching the news except for what I have to. Obviously, I have to pay attention to what the governor says. I have to pay attention to some of the things that the president says that impacts us. But other than that, we've had to completely change the way we do business at the college. And that's kept me pretty busy, trying to connect with staff and faculty and students to try to help them understand where we're at and what we're doing. So I've kind of immersed myself in work. right now. That's not my normal stress mechanism. Normally, I'm in my office here at home, and this is where I spend a little bit of time and unwind. Used to read a lot, and I'll maybe give you a viewing of my office a little bit because I know you want to talk about something that I have.
Yeah, yeah.
But I also find ways to do things with my hands. You know, my job. At one point, my kids asked me, "Well, what do you do all day?" And I said, "Well, I answer emails, I talk to people on the phone, and I sit in meetings." And they both said, "Ooh, I don't want to do that. That sounds horrible." But I don't get to see things happen a lot of times in my job. And so actually when I come home, I try to find different things that I can do to work with my hands.
Nice.
That seems to relieve stress for me.
Nice, nice. That's good. Now, now moving on to another subject, of course, which is near and dear to my heart. So I want to make a statement. So you guys, we live in a time where somebody running a community college, right? And they have hobbies, they're human just like everybody else. But it's just fascinating to have a president of my school where I work at to have some of the same interests as myself, which is Jordans. Now, I hear that you collect the old school colorways. Like you ain't into, if it ain't black, red, white, cement, you ain't in it. You ain't in it.
That's probably pretty much true. Although I do have a pair of Concords, so you know that's purple.
Not okay. Oh, so the Space Jam points. Wow. Yep. Right. So yeah, if you want to show us around, that would be awesome.
I see some 11s behind you, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, yeah. The brands. I just picked up the DMPs. In fact, they just came in yesterday, and here it is. I paid for those prior to any of this happening. I ordered them before they dropped, but it kind of stunk because I'm just getting them now.
Right.
Yeah, and I spent a little bit of probably more money than my wife would want me to, right, just to get them early, which is
absolutely.
Yeah. So I failed on that part. At least my wife would think that. She'd tell you that.
Well, Mike, let me give you a little background on why I collect Jordans, because you kind of had mentioned that, and also to your previous point, you know, I grew up without a whole lot of money. I grew up in a trailer park. Wow. My parents, my dad was a meat packer and my mom worked at Kmart. So some people think, I've been president my whole life and you're born president and that's just what happened. And that's not the case. So,
amen.
I kind of mentioned I fell in love with basketball. I played basketball all the way through high school. I didn't always have the nicest pair of sneakers. As a matter of fact, I wore ponies and Pumas when my friends were wearing Nikes and Adidas and then later on Jordans. I graduated in '86. The first Jordans came out in '85. I was not able to get a pair of Jordans. As a matter of fact, I never had a pair of Jordans at any point until my youngest son, I think he was 16, asked me for a pair of retro 11s for Christmas. So I had to go out on the secondary market, buy him a pair of Jordan 11s. And I said something to him and I just said, wow, I'm giving you a pair. I've never owned a pair of Jordans and I've always wanted one. And he just said, well, why don't you get one? And I thought,
and it started.
Well, why don't I get one? And so, I bought one and then that kind of led to, and then I decided what I wanted to do, and I'll show you, is get one of each of the 14 years that they dropped.
Wow.
Those were the 14 years that Jordan was with the Bulls. So yeah, I haven't gotten any new things from that. And if you're interested, I have to figure out how to switch my screen.
I'm interested.
Which camera? Okay. And I'll show you a little of them. I kind of have them. Oh, there you are. I kind of have them organized if I can get it up here.
Oh, nice.
So there's my Jordan 1s, which is the royal colorway.
Yes.
And then the Jordan 2s.
Oh, wow.
And then the 3s, which are the black cements.
Black cements.
And those are kind of fun ones.
Yeah.
That I've got. Some of the iconic ones. And then the 4s, which is probably the shoe that started the whole shoe collecting.
Those are grails.
Thing as the 4 cements came out. And those were ones, most of these I was able to buy from Nike, but these I had, the 4s I had to go out on the secondary market. Yeah. I also passed my basketball signed by Freddie Hoiberg, by the way.
Oh, wow.
My son was able to get that when he was at Iowa State. There's a pair of fives.
Fives with the gold tongue.
With the gold tongue, yep. And then the sixes,
which is
were
my
really the
favorite
North
pair.
Carolina colorways.
I love the six. I
Yeah.
love the sixes.
What's that?
I said I love the sixes. That's probably my favorite silhouette.
And then the sevens.
Nice.
And let's see, I'm trying to have a hard time. Okay, and then the eights down there, which are the breads.
Nice.
And the nines, which are just the black and white colorways. And then my craziest colorway is the tens.
Cool gray tens. Nice.
Gray tens with the colored soles.
Wow.
All right. Now we're moving on to the 11 Concords.
Yeah, the lows too. Yeah.
Yeah. And those would be my favorite, probably my favorite pair that I have, although I certainly like the four cements. And then the 12s, and these are called Flu Game.
Yeah.
So if anybody knows, Jordan, you've got some of those?
Blue Games.
What's that?
I said I got the Blue Games, the one that came out with the royal blue, but I never got a chance to pick up those.
Yeah. So the Flu Games is the iconic game when you see Michael Jordan had the flu.
Yeah. Tip and carry them off.
They drug him out on the court. And these were the shoes that he was wearing for that. So that was kind of fun.
Those are grails right there.
What's that?
Those are grails right there. Yeah. Cherry 13s, nice.
I like 13s a lot too. I just like the way they look and feel. And then 14 last shots. So these 14. Were the shoes he wore that when he took the last shot for the Bulls on his sixth championship game. Never put on a Bulls uniform after that.
Another iconic shoe right there.
Yeah. So that's kind of fun.
You got some buttes here. And I pulled my DMPs, right? And these just came in, and this is Defining Moments pack, which in 96, they came out with the Defining Moments pack, which had the 6s and the 11s, and they were both the first shoe he wore for both of his three-peats. So this, I believe, was in 91 or something like that, and the other
91 would have been the first year.
Yeah, and then 96 or something. But anyway, that is just, you guys, here it is. This is, we have somebody leading us that is, first of all, human, down to earth, right? That's the one thing I found out about Terry is totally down to earth, and he has a good heart, right? And I ain't saying that just because, right, he's our president. I'm saying that because that stuff is true. Right. So anyway, we're going to go on, and I'm going to have you, Terry, leave us with something. If you had a chance to say one message to all of the students that are under Western Iowa Tech's, banner, what would you tell them?
I don't know that that's my specialty, Mike, is doing that. But, I think the thing that I've always tried to do is always have a goal. And always shoot for something. I think that's helped me be where I'm at. It's always been a goal to get to this next level or this next level or this next level. It helps if you have goals that can build on each other. But, at one point in my life, I had a goal that I run a marathon. And so I went out and trained for 9 months and ran a marathon.
Wow.
You can always continue to improve yourself. And I don't believe that people are born with anything special. I think that people make themselves, and you do that by one step at a time and just keep building and keep trying to grow in things that matter to you. Not everybody's going to be a president of Western Iowa Tech. I think there are probably some people out there that very well could, and if that's what you want to do, keep working towards that and come talk to me. I'd love to help you. But there are people who want other goals, and just keep working towards your goal. Never give up on it. Take it one step at a time, and at some point you'll be there.
Wow. Well, y'all heard it, right? Straight from the president. Y'all heard it, Dr. Terry. And again, this is Live with Mike, and I'm asking y'all to stay social, but also stay distant, right? And that's going to be the word for today. You know what, Dr. Murrell, I appreciate your time here, and hopefully students will pick up on this. And also, students need to start registering for classes, because if you ain't got nothing to do but study, right? So why don't we catapult ourselves ahead by registering for classes. So thank you, Terry. You have a blessed day, and Godspeed.
Thanks, Mike. You too. Take care. Bye, all.
Take care.